Hello, what have we here? Welcome, I'm Lando Calrissian. I'm the administrator of this facility. And who might you be?
Leia.
Welcome, Leia. All right.
What's up, fellow collectors? P-Rockzilla back again for another review, and today you're going to take a look at the Hot Toys Star Wars Lando Calrissian, the space pimp himself. Yes, I know this figure came out a while ago, and yes, I did have this figure for a while already, thanks to Paystrick Peyton. Big shout out. We did a trade for this figure. Peyton, I'm going to take care of this figure as if it was originally mine, and I hope you do the same for the stuff I gave you in return. But anyways, I had to get this figure. I know a lot of people in the past, before this was announced, were clamoring that they were going to pick this figure up. But to this day, this still sits in Sideshow, and it usually has a deal. So not a lot of people actually follow through and picked up this figure. Maybe because of the lack of accessories, maybe because of that infamous cape. We do not know, but I will find out today in the review, at least from my opinion, of why I took so long to get this figure. I knew I wanted to get them because these are just, like I said, my Hot Toys are mostly Star Wars figures. And this is from the OG trilogy, which is my favorite and I love. So definitely want to get this guy. It's just more of like, I guess in my opinion, yes, the lack of like accessories and the fact that we don't have the Han yet to go with this, kind of made me like, I don't know, maybe that's the reason why I always rushing out to get this figure. And he's just a plain guy, like, you know, a plain guy with some nice clothes and stuff. So maybe that's the reason why, but I'm happy to finally have him in hand and to finally get him out of the box and in my collection. All right, so let's get this review started. Dial it. Okay, so let's take a look at this beautiful box before we get the figure out the box. And I've always liked when they have the anniversary stuff. Or here you have the 40th anniversary of the Empire Strikes Back logo there. Hot Toys logo, movie masterpiece. Star Wars, got a nice picture of the actual figure right there. Lando, space pimp right there. Lando. Over here you get the Star Wars logo for Disney. And in the back you get all the legal information. Over here you get Star Wars again with Lando on the bottom. And then right in the bottom, you get a Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. And then right in the top, you get another Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. And then the good thing about this too is you actually get a slip cover. So if you take the slip cover off, which I'm doing right now, you can actually see the figure right there. And a nice little pose of Lando right there. Actually, the figure again right there also. So that looks really good. All right, let's go ahead and get the Space Pimp out the box. When you get the figure out the box, let's get the box out the way. You agree with two clamshells, top layer and a bottom layer. Top layer actually has the figure. I'll show that real quick. But before we get to the clamshell, I do want to show real quick. It does come with a backdrop. And I do like this backdrop. Pretty cool. You know, it looks somewhat decent. I like these. These are they'll be cool for like the details and stuff. I don't use them. I mean, the only one I do use is the Miles Morales Into the Spider-Verse one. That one just looks so damn cool. So I do use that one. But anyways, let's go ahead and get the layer. So the top layer has the figure with all the accessories. As you can see there, the base, extra pegs. And then the bottom layer has the infamous cape. So we're going to see how this cape really does flap over the figure for the first time. All right, let's go ahead and get Lando out with all the accessories so we can take a close look in fine detail with everything he comes with in the package. And now we have Lando laid out with all the accessories that came in the package. So let's go ahead and take a look at Lando first. All right, so I do want to say, coming off right off the bat, basically, once I got this guy out of the box, the face looks just like him, at least in hand. It looks a lot better in hand than it does in the promo pictures. Love the hair, the way the hair is going. This dude had that smooth hair. Look at the little mustache right there, going all the way around. Now the collar, I'm not sure if this is. No, it's like a rain. Is it just pleather? No, it's more like a raincoat type material. It feels like, at least to me, it could be pleather. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. If you know for sure, please let me know in the comments. All right, so yeah, see, now this is the thing. Like I said, I know he's one of the OG characters, and this is kind of like where I was kind of hesitant on picking. I mean, I knew I was gonna pick him up, but I was in no rush to grab him because just I think, and then it could be the reason for other collectors too. He just looks so plain. There's no like enchants, there's no stripes. There's nothing. It's just basically, it looks like, you know what this looks like right here? Now I'm thinking about it. This is like me when I was in the Air Force. This is like my military blues. Got the blue pants with the light blue shirt. And I hated wearing this damn thing. But Lando basically looked nice. The belt is a little bit up there. I got to adjust that belt maybe. Bring it down a little bit more. There we go. But that belt does ride up pretty high. And the material is posable, but it just feels like, it feels different. So there we go. We got the shoes. Even the shoes. Yo, look, even the shoes. These are like the shoes I wore when I was in the military. Wow, I didn't know. It's funny, man. I should just get that suit together and one day cosplay as Lando. But anyways, let's take a look at the figure. So no treads in the bottom. We might as well just do articulation while we're doing it, looking at this. So let's go with the ankles first. So the ankles, it's the whole boot. No split cut boot, just the whole boot. So definitely gonna have to put some treatment on that. But you do get some good articulation at the ankles. The foot can go pretty far up. It can go very far down. And then you could get some pivot sideways. You get twist. Let's pull these pants back down more. Uh-oh. Pants got stuck there. I don't want those boots showing. All right. So let's see if Lando, let's start upward. So Lando can, let's see if he can do a split. It seems like, now I do feel, is that a fat suit under there? Or is that just a plastic? Interesting. I do feel something. I think there's a fat suit around his thighs. But it seems like he could do the split. It's just hindered by the pants. It could be the fat suit too, but I feel like it's the pants. Anyways, does get double bend at the knees. So that's pretty cool. Leg, see, once again, the same with the hindering. So I think it's the fat suit portion that's kind of hindering the articulation. So he can't get his knee too high. I mean, you could get it further up. I feel like it's just some tension there. But as you see, it slowly starts moving down a little bit. All right, so does he get swivel? Yep, so you do get some swivel at the upper thigh. So that's good. Let's see how far back the leg. The leg can't go back too much at all, really. All right, so you double bend the knees again. Let's just look at that knee real quick. All right. At the waist, let's look at the waist. No, wait, hold on. Is that his nipple? Two things, like why is nipple showing one, and then why so low? Why is it like way down here? It shouldn't be like up here somewhere? Is it cold in Cloud City? I don't know. But anyways, I didn't realize that, like, you know, until I got the figure in hand. You can see his nips. All right, so you got a twist at the waist. You get twist. It feels like there's two portions of twist at the lower chest portion and at the waist. You can somewhat pivot side to side. Let's see the bend back. Bend back, he does get good bend back. I'm fearful of that shirt untucking. I wonder if this is all stitched together. And then forward, he does get good bend going forward. But the belt's always showing. All right, so at the arms, let's try the arms out. So the arms can go fully up. So you can do a nice T, semi-wide pose. You do get swivel at, it looks like it's at the upper bicep. And then you do get double bend at the elbows. Very nice. So let's see if you get the arm this way. So there you go. You can do a little sprinkler action. The arms, let's see if the arms can go pretty far up. You're hindered because of the shirt, but it seems like you could get the arms all the way up. You just gotta be careful with that shirt there. And let's see going backwards. So same thing, going back, you could, same thing too. We can see the bunching of the shirt there, so just be careful with that. I wouldn't leave him pose like that for too long. I mean, this type of material, I think, should be fine posing wise. I don't think it's gonna cause damage to this. It kind of feels like a better, like Saitama One Punch Man, the way his suit is, but better quality. That's what it kind of feels like. All right, so the head can go sideways. He can look pretty far up and pretty good down. Get this weird little bulge down here, but let me just see something. Is there a fat suit under there too? There's something like plastically in there. It's not the body, so it's like, I guess he does have some kind of fat suit. I don't know why. Anyways, there you go. So the belt, this belt does twist around. It's a plastic, so it's a soft plastic. It's not pleather, so you don't have to worry about conditioning this one or this one peeling on you. All right, so there goes Lando. Simple, basic, looks like him. Cool articulation, nice nips. All right, so let's look at the blaster rifle. He does come with a blaster rifle. Very good paint on this. Does this come down? Yep, so the attachment does come down, so you can put this on his shoulder. So that does come down, obviously all plastic. Let's go ahead and put that back. So this looks real nice. Let's look at his blaster gun. All right, so it has a nice shine to this one right here. I like the little plastic cover over that right there. That looks pretty. That's something different. Looks pretty nice. This looks like some kind of blender or something, but that looks pretty cool. Something different. I like the shiny paint on this. Looks real nice. All right, nice and basic. And then he does come with his communicator. Nicely painted. It does have that metal look. It's obviously not metal, it's made out of plastic. But it does have that metal look on it with the paint application. And then he does come with his Apple Watch. This is the futuristic Apple Watch. You know, you guys thought, you know, the style was going to be getting smaller and smaller. But nah, man. In the future, things are just a lot bigger. Bigger is better. I guess Texas was right this whole time. But nah, this is a I forgot what this was called. Damn it, I just had it too. Give me 1 second. The wrist link. That's the wrist link. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. There he has the wrist link. And this is like a pleather type material. So I will be careful with that when you try to put it on there. But it looks pretty cool. Then you get the pegs, extra pegs. This is always a plus. Then you get the different hands. You get the closed fist hands with the vein action going on there. You get 2 of those. And then you get 1 hand. I think one of these is for the communicator. And the other ones, I think this is for this one. We'll see when we put the guns on. I think this is the communicator. And then this is the, weapon wielding hand. All right. And then we get this base that has the detachable piece right here that you can put on. I do like that. It's kind of like the shiny material. It's not like the matte finish type on some of the other cards that came in with the bases. And then you do obviously get a stand too. I just did take the stand out, the crotch grabber. And then you do get the infamous cape that some collectors were kind of upset about the way it came out, the final product. It looks good in hand. It's pretty big. It's actually really big. It's a pretty big cape. It's something like, you know, maybe Batman would wear. But you get these little 2 slots over here, which you basically slide the way you put the cape on. You put the hands back like this, and then you slide these on here, and they go up to his like shoulder right there, and then you basically have the cape on. So just want to show you guys real quick how to put the cape on. I'll definitely have the cape on in 1 or 2 of the final poses. More like I'm gonna have them posed up with the cape on. And then this is, I'm trying to see, is this pleather? It feels, I think this is pleather right here. Feels a little different though. All right, the cape does have like a hard feel to it. It does feel pretty like kind of like a table skirt, like a table cover or something. All right, so there we go. There's Lando, all the accessories, all the articulation. So let's go ahead and get some size comparison started. And now we have Lando staying default pose, ready for size comparison. So let's go ahead and bring in another Hot Toys. And this is going to be the Hot Toys Moff Gideon. All right, let's go ahead and bring in a 3-0 figure. And this is going to be 3-0 Morgan Jones. Ooh, almost forgot his name. And last but not least, I'm going to bring in a smaller scale figure. And this is the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles human version of Bebop. So there we go. There goes Lando with 3 other figures. Just in case you might have any of these 3 figures in your collection, you get a good idea of how big and how Lando scales in your collection and how you will fit in your display. All right, let's get the final thoughts and final poses. So as you can see, Lando landed in a space club and there's no females there. There's no mamitas, no mommies. Everybody's gone. He's basically using his iPhone. Let me stop messing with that. His iWatch. It's basically his communicator to basically contact his people. Say, hey, where's the chicks at, man? I'm not coming here all dressed up, you know, for no ladies. There's gotta be some ladies up here, man. Space Pimp needs some play, man. But yeah, so the belt around the waist, I had to look at pictures again because I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like a little bit higher, like a girder or something, or like a little bit lower, like, because it does annoy me when you turn around and you have it a little bit higher, you can actually see like the blue shirt under there and you can see the pants. So to me, to have it more aligned, I kind of push it down. So I gotta see if that's more something that has to be up or down. But once I get the cape on there, it's not gonna matter because my Lando's gonna have his cape on there because that cape is so stylish that I cannot have that cape in my display. Even if it's gonna look funny or ruffled at first, but in my final poses, the next two poses, I will definitely have the cape on there so you get an idea of how this cape would look or how I feel like I'm gonna mess around with the cape. But he does articulate pretty good. Like I said, the fat suit on his thighs does kind of get in the way of some of the articulation, so that's a negative. He does look and seem a little bit plain and basic, so I can see that as a negative to some people. But this is how he's represented in the movies. So if you love him in the movies, you gotta love him in figure form. Even if he does come with the Air Force Blues on, you gotta love him. So it's up to you if you want to get this figure or not. It's more of this. If does this character hold a special spot in your memories from the movie or in your collection? That will determine if you want to get this figure or not. Like I said, each collector, it's your choice on when you want to get. Just don't get everything, people. Please just don't get everything. You don't need everything. Just get what you really want and then go from there. All right, so when Lando makes a call, he gets his stuff delivered. And there is Lando, the space pimp, with his females that he had to call in because the bar club was empty. And now we have a party with Lando. Lando is the freaking man. Now, the only thing that I can say maybe these females won't appreciate from Lando is that damn cape. That thing is a pain in the butt to get on there. I mean, it's not a pain in the butt to put on. It's just a pain in the butt to kind of make it look good. The collar portion doesn't really fully go around the neck. And there is no bendy wire to kind of have it sit around the neck even better. So it doesn't look like the promo pictures where you basically have that collar on the cape portion kind of going fully around. It's a little bit more flapped over. And not for nothing, like the little suspender things that are holding the cape on them, they're not really as like strong to kind of hold the cape up more. I try to slide it up more to kind of cover his shoulders more, but it just the weight of the cape compared to the strength of those straps, the cape just simply slides back towards away from his neck, so it doesn't get flushed around the neck. So I can see where other collectors have problems with this cape, and I am experiencing those same problems right now where it just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't flow right. It just doesn't seem right, like something about that cape. But the rest of the figure does feel good. Fat suit doesn't hinder much of this. It does hinder the articulation around the thighs, but nothing really much else. Because, you know, let's be honest, Lando's not doing backflips and spinning kicks and stuff like that. So the articulation is kind of pointed to what the character actually did in the movie. So it is what it is for now. I do want to mess around that cape more because that thing is kind of bothering me. So even if I don't get the cape looking perfect or good enough in the next final pose, I'm definitely going to work on it before I put this guy in my display because that cape is too nice to have it sitting there looking ugly on him. Okay, so in this final pose, I did want to get at least one of the blasters or pistols in there and the communicator. I think I got the communicator before. Now, one thing, they only give you really one hand to hold the communicator, so which is basically the same right hand that holds the gun, like the rifles, both blaster and pistol. So that kind of sucks. I kind of wish it would be, you know, I was able to get it working with the semi-open hand. I had to basically put the communicator in between his fingers. Good thing his fingers are malleable, so you can basically move them to get the antenna in there, and he can hold it pretty firmly. But I did wish they gave us kind of like a left hand that can basically either hold the communicator or hold another pistol, so you can have Lando doing dual wielding. You know, that'd be pretty cool to have, kind of make him look badass right there. The cape is a pain in the butt. I do see now what other collectors have had issues with and their problems with the cape. It seems like the material like is just too thick, where no matter where you try to put it, it doesn't flow, or like what's the word I'm trying to use? Like crimple, I guess. Like it doesn't do it right in the right places. Like for instance, right there, I was trying to get that cape tucked under his elbow where he's holding the communicator, but the fact that it's so thick, it was kind of pulling everything back and just making the cape look kind of funny. So that's one issue I do see with the cape. I do wish the cape either had less, like more thinner material on there, or less material on there so it can actually flow a little more smoother and realistic. But I was able to get this pose right here. I want to use the backdrop. The backdrop, I'll tell you guys right now, that backdrop sucks. Like this thing, it's a little skinny thing right there. You know, it doesn't even stand up on its own that good. I had to kind of lean it against the base right here in the bottom. And it's like real thin. Like it should have opened up more, kind of like the Miles into Spider-Verse, where it's kind of like more, it's like longer from side to side, or wider, I mean, that's what I'm trying to use. But it gives a little thin right here that, you know, it doesn't, even if you put it in a detail, it doesn't cover the full back of the detail. It only covers maybe like half of the detail. So that backdrop should have been a little bit bigger. And I've never really been a big fan with the Hot Toy backdrops. They feel cheap and they usually don't get the job accomplished correctly. Like, it just doesn't look right. I mean, maybe if I get a detail full, or when I get my module cases, I can probably put maybe some of these backdrops in the background. Maybe it will look a little good, but I don't know. I don't see the use of these backdrops. Maybe they should have took the backdrop out and then put more money and R&R into the cape to make the cape a little bit better. But he does hold the pistols good. I do admit. The pistol fits perfectly into that hand. And the hands were easy to swap out. Everything is easy to swap out in this guy. So the articulation is good on him. The accessories are, like I said, for what he did in the movie for this type of character right here. The accessories are decent because, he technically didn't do as much. But he, and he looks just like him. So I could say, there's a lot of positives, but there's some negatives with that cape and just how plain he looks. And that's really about it. Like, I was able to cover the wrist pretty good. So all in all, like, this is actually a pretty good figure. Like, yeah, it took a little long to pick him up, but I'm happy I finally do have him in the collection. He is one of the OG characters. So finally I can have a display, with some of the OG characters in there, without having to spend, the aftermarket prices on these characters. So kind of get them at retail, which is pretty good. And thankfully I got this with a trade, like I said. So I didn't really, I spent money, but I technically didn't spend money on this. So I like it, man. I like the figure. Happy he's finally home. Just got to figure out who I'm gonna probably display him with. More likely with the Snowspeeder Luke when I get him open. So I'm happy. No regrets. If you need to pick this figure up, and you are on the fence, I would say maybe go ahead. Like, when you're, when the times get slow and no figures are being released and you have, like, a little bit of money to spare, I would say pick him up. He's a good pickup. Classic character. The Space Pimp, man. But anyways, collectors, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, or even if you didn't, please hit that like, subscribe button, click that bell notification, and as always, collectors, keep collecting, stay safe, be good, dale.